$3. That's the coffee, not the fancy one. The real one. The one from the cart outside the building where the guy knows your order before you say it and has it ready by the time you reach the front. $3. A paper cup with a plastic lid and your name written wrong on the side in marker. You take it without looking at the spelling. You never look at the spelling. You are 22 years old. You are 3 weeks into your first real job. The salary is modest and the commute is long, and the coffee is the one thing between the train platform and the office that feels like a choice you made for yourself. $3? You don't think about it. Nobody thinks about it. $3 is the exact amount that disappears without leaving a mark, which is the entire point of $3. Now hold that coffee cup in your mind, because this is a story about the same $3 every single morning for 40 years. And about the two people it quietly, invisibly, without announcement, decides you will become. The same morning, the different decision. It is the next Tuesday. Same train platform, same cart, same guy with the marker already uncapped. This time you walk past, not forever, not dramatically, just today. You get to the office, fill a paper cup from the machine in the break room that tastes like nothing in particular, and sit down at your desk. You open an app on your phone you downloaded the night before after watching something online that made you feel briefly guilty and briefly curious in equal measure. The interface is simple, almost boring. One button, one fund. The entire stock market in a single purchase. You move $3 into it. The screen confirms the transaction. Your balance is $3. It looks like a mistake. It looks like something a child would do with birthday money. You put the phone face down and drink the nothing flavored coffee and go back to work. But the $3 is in something now. Something that owns a small piece of every large company on earth. Something that has been running quietly for decades before you arrived and will keep running quietly long after today. Something that does not care that the amount is $3 or that you feel slightly foolish for starting here. You set it to happen automatically. $3 every morning, pulled before you can spend it on something with a lid and a wrong spelling of your name. $91 a month leaves your account towards something you cannot touch and cannot see and will not think about for most of the days it is working. You barely notice it is gone. That was always the strange thing about the $3. It was going to disappear either way. You just changed where. Year 1, age 23. A full year has passed. You opened the app for the first time in 3 months because you forgot the password and had to reset it, and then forgot again, and then finally reset it again on a Sunday when you had nothing else to do. The balance reads $1,142. You contributed $1,095 of that yourself. $1.95 was added by the market while you slept and commuted and forgot the password twice. $1.95. In a year. You mention it to a friend over lunch. She asks how much you made. You tell her. She makes a face that is not quite a laugh, but in the same family as one. $1.95, she says. I made that much in interest just from keeping money in my savings account. She's not wrong about the number. She's wrong about what the number is. The $1.95 is not the investment return. The $1.95 is the engine at 1 year old. It is smaller than it will ever be again. Every dollar that enters it from this point forward will find an engine that has been running for a year longer than it would have been if you had waited until the number felt more impressive to start. The first rule, the return in year 1 is not the point. The point is that year 1 is over, and year 2 has already started. Most people never finish year 1. They look at the number, decide it isn't serious, and stop. The $3 isn't serious yet, but the habit is. And the habit is the only thing that turns the $3 into everything that comes after it. You set a reminder to open the app quarterly. You do not open it quarterly. You open it when you remember, which is approximately twice a year. This turns out to be exactly the right frequency. Checking less is not laziness. Checking less is protection from yourself. Year 3, age 25. The balance is $3,640. You have contributed $3,285. The market has added $355, a number that has gone from $1.95 to something you can now almost feel. Something else has happened this year. You got a raise. Not a large one, but enough that the automatic $3 now feels like even less of a sacrifice than it did at 22 when the salary was smaller and tighter and the break room coffee tasted worse because everything tasted worse that first year. You increased the automatic transfer. Not by much. From $3 to $5 a day. You do not mark this decision anywhere. You do not tell anyone. You simply update a number in an app one evening while watching something forgettable on your phone, and the amount leaves your account from that point forward without asking permission. The difference between $3 and $5 a day is $730 a year. It is 2 cheap coffees. It is lunch out twice a week, replaced by lunch brought from home once a week. It is a number so small that the lifestyle does not register its absence, but the machine does. The second rule, the most powerful moment in building wealth is not when you start. It is the first time you increase. Starting is courage. Increasing is belief. And belief, expressed in a $2 daily adjustment to an automatic transfer, is what separates the people who retire with something from the people who retire with the intention of having started something. Year 5, age 27. The balance is $7,900. You have contributed $6,570 of that. The rest arrived without you earning it. A colleague tells you about a stock. A company you have heard of, going through something you don't fully understand, but the number is going up and his brother-in-law got in early and the return so far is extraordinary and you should put something in before it keeps running. You listen. You nod. You do not put anything in. Not because you are certain he is wrong. You are not certain about anything at this level of financial experience. You decline because the feeling in the room when he talks about it is a feeling you recognize from somewhere. The energy of a number that is moving fast, the urgency of getting in before it goes further, the logic that the recent past is evidence of the near future. You felt this feeling before. Behind a gas station, on a parking lot, scratching a surface with a coin you kept in the cup holder. The mechanism is different. The architecture is identical. The third rule, the promise that a small amount becomes a large amount quickly, with no time required in between, has a name. It has always had the same name. The name changes depending on what you are scratching, but the structure underneath does not change. Time is not a feature most people want in their investment. Time is the entire product. Remove it and you have not found a better version of the thing. You have found a different thing entirely. Your colleague's stock drops 60% over the following 4 months. He does not mention it again. You keep doing the most boring thing a person can do with money. You keep being slow. Year 10, age 32. The balance is $21,400. You have contributed $18,250 across a decade. The rest, more than $3,000, appeared from the mathematics of time and compound growth. Something shifts at this balance, not in the account, in you. You stop calculating how long it will take to reach the next round number. You stop checking the market when the news is bad, not because you are disciplined, but because the checking stopped feeling useful. You understand now, in a way that is felt rather than learned, that the account moving down is the account buying things cheaper. That fear and opportunity are pointing at the same moment from opposite directions. This understanding is not intelligence, it is experience. And experience only comes from staying long enough to have it. The year the market falls 28% in 8 months, you do not sell. It is softer than that. You simply do not open the app during the fall. You keep the automatic transfer running. You buy the fund while it is cheaper than it has been in 3 years, and you do not feel clever for doing it. And you do not tell anyone you did it. When the recovery comes, as it has come every single time before, you did not catch the bottom. You were already in it. The fourth rule, the rarest skill in investing is not intelligence. It is the ability to do nothing when doing something feels urgent. Doing nothing when the number falls is not passivity. It is the most active choice available in that moment, and almost nobody makes it. Almost everybody sells. Almost everybody waits to feel safe before coming back in. Almost everybody buys the recovery after it has already happened. The $3 investor does not need to be smarter. The $3 investor only needs to be more boring. Year 15. Age 37, the balance is $44,800. You have contributed $27,375. The account now holds $17,000 more than you have ever put into it. Read that again. The account holds $17,000 more than you have ever put into it. You have crossed the line where the machine is contributing more than you are. Not in every year, not consistently yet, but in a good year, the return on what is already in the account now rivals what you add by hand. The stone is beginning to roll on its own. Your job is increasingly to not stand in front of it. That same year, a friend gets laid off. He has a mortgage, a car lease, 2 kids in activities, and 11 days of expenses in a savings account. 11 days between his family and the version of a bad month that ends in a decision he cannot undo. You have 15 years of $3 mornings sitting in an account you have never touched. You do not compare the two situations out loud. You buy his family dinner and say nothing about the app. The fifth rule. The $3 investment was never only about retirement. The retirement number is the headline. The real product, the one that changes the texture of every year before retirement, is the distance it puts between you and panic. Most people live their entire financial lives with almost no distance between themselves and a crisis. The $3 every morning, quietly every day, is the construction of that distance, one morning at a time, in amounts too small to feel. Year 20, age 42. The balance is $81,000. You have contributed $36,500 across 2 decades. The account has more than doubled your contribution without asking anything additional from you. Something strange is happening with the math now. The account grows in a strong year by more than you earn from work in several months. Not because you're lucky, not because you picked the right thing, because the base is large enough that the percentage now produces a large absolute number. 7% of $81,000 is $5,670 in a year, without working a single hour for it. You remember the $1.95 in year 1. You remember the face your friend made at lunch. You remember calculating how long it would take to reach $10,000 and feeling discouraged by the answer. You are not discouraged now. You are not anything dramatic. You are simply the person who kept doing the one boring thing long enough for it to stop being small. You go to a dinner that year with people you went to college with. Someone has a car that costs more than your annual salary. Someone has a watch they mentioned 3 times. You drive the same car you have had for 7 years, the one that is paid off and owes you nothing. You wear the same watch you have had since your mid-20s. Your old friend, the one who laughed at the $1.95, is at the dinner. He asks if you ever stuck with that investment thing. You tell him you did. He asks how much is in there. You tell him. He is quiet for a moment in a way you did not ask for and do not enjoy. You change the subject. The number was never supposed to be loud. Loudness was always the other thing. Year 25, age 47. The balance is $134,000. You have contributed $45,625 total, which means the account now holds nearly $90,000 that you never earned, never worked for, never noticed arriving. It accumulated in the background of your actual life while you were doing everything else. The headlines this year say that most people your age have almost nothing saved, that retirement security is increasingly out of reach for ordinary earners, that the math no longer works for people who make what you make. You have always made what ordinary earners make. You sat in the same traffic, paid the same rent, ate the same lunches, took the same sick days as the people in those headlines. The only variable that separated you from that headline is the coffee cart you walked past 6,000 mornings ago and every morning since. Not the discipline, not the intelligence, not the sacrifice of anything that left a mark. The only thing that is different is that you redirected an amount of money so small it had no name into something that had time to become something large. The 6th rule. The wealth that ordinary earners build is not built through extraordinary decisions. It is built through the repetition of one unremarkable decision made before the desire to spend can form an opinion about it. Automatic, invisible, boring. Every morning. For so long that the amount stopped being the point and the duration became the entire product. Year 30. Age 52. The balance is $210,000. You have put in $54,750 of your own money. The account holds $155,000 beyond that. Money that arrived from a mechanism. Money that is now accelerating on its own weight because the base is large enough that even a modest year produces a number that would have seemed fictional at 22. You do not check the balance often. You check it the way you check the weather, briefly, without much expectation that what you find will require action. It almost never requires action. That is the other thing about the $3 that nobody writes about. Not just the money, the silence, the absence of a financial story that needs managing, updating, worrying about, discussing, defending, no position to justify, no strategy to explain at dinner, no ticket to scratch, just a number in a place no one looks, doing the thing numbers do when they are left alone long enough. Your children are old enough now to ask about money, not in sophisticated terms. In the terms children use when they start to notice that some families seem to have more room than others. You tell them the story is simple. You tell them it started at $3. You show them the balance. They do not fully understand the number. You tell them that's fine. You tell them they don't need to understand the number. They need to understand the $3. Year 35, age 57. The balance is $310,000. You have contributed $63,875 total in 35 years of automatic daily transfers in amounts that began at $3 and were increased gently over time as the income allowed. The account holds more than $246,000 beyond what you put in, 2.5 times your contribution, generated by a mathematical process. That has been running since before you cared about it. That will keep running regardless of whether you care about it now. This is the year the account officially starts doing what you once believed only large amounts of money could do. This year, the account generates, in paper growth, more than the annual salary you had in your first job in a single year from its own momentum. You are not rich. You are not a story anyone would find inspiring at a conference. You are an ordinary earner who makes an ordinary wage, who has an account with $310,000 in it that nobody knows about. And that started with $3 and a walk past a coffee cart on a Tuesday morning in your early 20s. Year 40, age 62. The balance is $461,000. Sit with the breakdown because it is the entire story in two numbers. You contributed $73,000 of your own money. 40 years of $3 mornings and occasional increases and automatic transfers and passwords forgotten and reset and forgotten again. The account holds $388,000 beyond what you put in. Nearly $400,000 that you did not earn, did not work for, did not time, did not pick, did not worry about. Money that arrived from the compound mathematics of time applied to the smallest daily amount most people spend without memory. You did not get lucky. You did not find anything secret. You did not sacrifice in any way that left a mark on your daily life. You walked past a coffee cart most mornings for 4 decades and moved the price of what you didn't buy into the most unremarkable fund in existence and left it there long enough for time to do the only thing time does when money is inside it. The money grows. That is the whole mechanism. There is no second version of this, no faster path, no shortcut that produces the same output. The slowness was not the flaw. The slowness was the product, and the product cost 40 years of mourning so small, you will never be able to point to one of them and say, that was the one that mattered. They all mattered equally, which means none of them mattered in isolation, which is exactly why almost nobody does it. Almost nobody can stay committed to something that gives no single moment of confirmation that it is working. The $3 never felt like it was working. That was the whole point. The $3 was never supposed to feel like anything. Your old college friend retires the same year you do. He made the same salary, had the same opportunities, sat at the same desks, in the same industries, in the same economy, for the same number of years. He is a good man. He worked every shift. He paid every bill. He enjoyed his life in the way people enjoy their lives, in the small daily pleasures that cost $3 at a cart and taste like a choice made for yourself. Across 40 years, his $3 also added up to $73,000, spent perfectly on 14,600 mornings of something warm with a plastic lid and his name written wrong on the side, and lunches that were good, and small celebrations that felt deserved because they were. He has his pension. He has his memories of 14,600 good mornings. He has a life he genuinely lived. You have those mornings too. Most of them. You had the break room coffee and learned eventually to make it taste like something. You have the life. You also have $461,000 sitting behind it like a second person who showed up to every morning of the last 40 years and worked the entire time without ever asking to be noticed. Nobody can point to the day the two of you became different stories. There was no day. There were only 2 different answers to the same small question, asked again every single morning at the same cart on the same platform, until the answers stopped being decisions and became 2 different futures. Somewhere right now, it is early morning. Someone is standing at a cart outside a building. The guy behind it already has a cup ready. $3, the lid snaps on. The name is written wrong on the side. They take it without looking at the spelling. They are not doing anything wrong. The coffee is real. The warmth is real. The few minutes of something chosen for yourself before the day begins is real and it matters, and no spreadsheet captures what it is worth to a 22-year-old on a cold platform at 8 in the morning. But there is an app. One button, one fund, and a $3 that will vanish either way. It was always going to vanish either way. You only ever got to choose what it was quietly turning you into while you were busy holding the cup. $3. That's where it starts. That's where it always starts.